I think some of the meat eaters that listen to us would probably be mad at me if I didn't ask this question. When people talk about eating meat, people like we follow some people that are like, oh, you need 2 steaks with a bunch of butter on top and a bunch of eggs. You need just protein, protein, protein. Cholesterol doesn't matter. It's fine. There's a lot of people that are basically just the complete opposite of what you're saying. Now, when they speak about how important eating meat and animal protein is, they tend to look back to like primitive ages, whereas like we're hunter gatherers naturally as humans. I mean, is that true or no? I don't know, because or is that just a eat what was around kind of thing?
Well, I followed that argument fairly closely, and I've been on actually on was it Wall Street Journal debate one time with Larry King, and so I've been fairly close to that argument and paid some attention to those claims and tried to look up the data. Those data are kind of speculative, I have to tell you. We can't be sure of that. You know what happened? Let's say a few 100,000 or even a million or 2 years ago. It's really very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's a catchy idea. It's a catchy idea, and so I don't know. It's hard for me to comment because I'm not going to say I know otherwise. But the point is that when we do, this is part of my research. When you're looking at the whole body, you look at the interaction of nutrition with the whole body. There's no way under the sun that this is a recent intervention. At this kind of nutrition.
Yeah.
Our body is constructed in such a way that it can only survive best by far by eating plants. It's that simple.
Yeah, our anatomy.
All the mechanisms. Nature took millions of years to create the system we have. And now she knows how to use it.
Yeah.
And isn't it kind of interesting that we don't get heart disease? We get, I shouldn't say heart disease is way down, cancer way down, diabetes way down, chronic kidney disease way down.
Well, that's my question. My open question to the health on. Okay, so there's people that are omnivores or carnivores that are into the health thing, and then there's just regular people that just like to eat meat. And I kind of respect the latter more because they're just like, I just want to eat what I want to eat. I know it's not the healthiest. I just like to enjoy life.
Actions have consequences. Whatever.
Versus the people that are just in complete denial that plant-based diets do and have reversed countless diseases throughout human history over and over again in human populations and prevented diseases. Well, and it's just kind of like, what do you are you arguing against reality? That
but also, I think it's important to get their argument completely right, and that's also they'll say that you're malnourished, right? Like because you supplement, correct? You do supplement, right, Si?
I do some supplements.
I'm talking about my co-host here. I'm just saying you stuff.
I think that's a great point. So Colin doesn't supplement, strictly whole food plant-based, is 88 years old, completely heart disease free and everything. So I would say, I mean, I definitely don't think it's a necessity. And I do find it funny. A lot of the omnivores that claim that have huge supplement cabinets.
Of course. No, they do too. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird phenomenon where, it's like they say we need supplements, but they take the same supplements or more.
So some people would say iron, like some women would say like iron, they would be iron deficient if they didn't eat animal protein. I'm just it's not my take. This is what I hear. So I want to make sure
it's fair. Yeah, it's out there. Yeah. I'll speak to that. I know that there are definitely ways of eating a plant-based diet that can make you anemic, but it's very easy to avoid. Would you agree with that, Colin?
Yeah. I mean, the plant-based diet, looking at the totality of the evidence.
Yeah.
And the strength of the evidence of a variety of diseases. And then looking at the biological plausibility, biochemistry. Fit hand in glove.
Yeah.
They're undeniable.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever come along and refute this idea scientifically. I will tell you.
So how do you see?
Of course, we can have exceptions from time to time for individuals. That's true.
Outliers.
But who wants to bet on smoking cigarettes all their lives until they're 95 and have a 5% chance of surviving?
Yeah, it's like Russian roulette. You might get the empty chamber. All right, so you're 88. In light of the conversation we just had in terms of the last 5-10 minutes, we want you to live forever. We know that's not going to happen, unfortunately. How do you see this next century, this century of nutrition playing out? Do you think it'll get better? Do you think we'll beat the vested interests? Do you think it'll just keep going down a dark path? What's your projection?
Yeah, they asked that question just this afternoon on another one.
Yeah.
What's the future look like? We have a book, The Future of Nutrition, that was the latest book in 2020. I wrote that with my grandson. But anyhow, there's only one way that we have a choice. If we actually use the whole food plant-based diet, because of the strength of the evidence and all the rest of it that we have, both theoretical and practical, that actually has a huge effect. That will have a huge effect on our environmental problems.
Yeah.
No question about it. Now, the number one cause of climate change is, in fact, livestock. That's been known for some time. It's huge. The latest estimate is in the 80%.
Right.
That's another topic that's another topic that people kind of.
Well, they don't think there's a problem. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't think that that climate change is real. Therefore, it can't be the livestock because the problem isn't real. I disagree with that, even as somebody who eats animal products. You know,
that and also and exactly. And it's like animal products don't cause heart disease. Growing animals for food doesn't cause environmental problems. Those two arguments, kind of that denialism, and just the like the rainforest being cut down, the Gulf of Mexico with the runoff from the pig farming, right? Which was that's what you used to do. You were a hog farmer, right? And
that's right.
These things have kind of an effect on that we could see with our own eyes, right? That's what I always kind of realized is like we could see it. We could see algae blooms. We could see all this crazy stuff happening. So sorry, I jumped in there for you, but go on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really big topic.
Yeah.
Another big topic too that's consistent with what we're talking about: human health, environment, so forth. Another one is the cost of health care.
Okay.
Cost of health care is through the roof. We spend more on care for health than any country in the world per capita.
Yeah.
And it's a huge difference in a lot of cases. We also have the lowest life expectancy now among Western nations.
It's great.
The lowest. And also the third or fourth, depending on how it's calculated, these are data published 30 years ago. The third leading cause of death, I say fourth if you somewhat, but in third, fourth, is side effects from drugs.
Wow.
Right behind heart disease and cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's staggering. You look at some of these numbers like this. We're number one in the use of pharmaceuticals. We spend the most money.
Yeah.
We have the greatest side effects, of course. I don't know how we can make it. And if you look at the biological plausibility argument, it's a no-brainer. No one can argue against it.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many things seem to match up with this.
They do. It's
all one thing. And I got just a question. Do you now, Cy? I know my co-host. He has definitely a ethical problem with eating animals as well. Do you share that same, or is it all health for you? Like, is it all just health related?
I did not in the beginning, but I have. I admit, the ethical argument is a good argument in my view. But I say that the biggest problem we have is to tackle that problem. We don't need that food. We don't need to eat that food biochemically. We just don't need it.
So
and
then it becomes ethical because you don't need it. Yeah. Gotcha.
Exactly.
100%.
What I do dislike, though, is among some of the vegan leaders, they will turn around and say that they shouldn't talk about my stuff because it's based on experimental animals, at least some of it.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And so they want to deny that. That's crazy. Because the answer is right up their alley. Don't use animal protein.
I'll also note that I don't know why, but for some reason, and I am adamantly against factory farming. It's one of my biggest issues. I detest using animals for, just slaughtering them senselessly, all these different things.
Sure,
that being said, some of the most hardcore animal rights vegans are the least healthy and the least focused on health that I've ever seen. They're less healthy than omnivores.
It's all ethics.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
it's all
ethics,
ethics.
and they're eating tons of oil, they're eating tons of processed sugar, they're eating
Mhm.
fake meat, all this stuff, Impossible Burgers. I could never figure out why that was, and they tell you not to focus on health, and it's almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot there. I don't know if you have any comments on that, but it's a trend I've noticed. Yeah.
I'll just make one comment. This was told to me by the best known historian of vegetarianism.
Yeah.
Ren Berry was his name, but he passed away since. But in any case, there's only one country that put it in their constitution. Animal welfare.
Hmm.
You know what country that was?
No.
Hitler's Germany.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
And then later, instead of using animals to test drugs on, they used humans.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God. Wow.
Yeah,
I did
put
not
that
expect
forward.
that.
Yeah.
Try to figure that out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.